Mini Jake, the tribe has spoken.
Fuck you, Kevin.
Aw, thank you too, sweetie.
I'm JJ, one of the original Tribe of Nerds members. You can catch me on Marvel, Pokemon, and other gaming podcasts.
What up? It's Josh, resident superhero nerd, but I also dabble in the occasional super villain as well.
Some may know me as the Chaos Gremlin, but really I'm just Joe King.
Pikachu, use Volt Tackle! Good job, Pikachu!
On the Tribe of Nerds. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Shane and I are back for another Survivor What If interview, pondering the question in this vast multiverse. As you can see, we have from Survivor China, Leslie Nease, and the host of the new Beyond the Torch podcast, Todd Herzog. Welcome, Leslie, to the Tribe of Nerds.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. This is such a fun little concept. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been fun to go through these, especially with some of you who I've heard always ponder these scenarios with each other too.
Well, of course we ponder them because the scenario I had sucked. So I'm excited to talk about what might have happened if,
Right. So
I have dog.
You're fine.
You're totally good. So Leslie, we're going to go through with you for your what if scenario. So what if you were on Zhan Hu from the beginning, or what if the kidnapping twist in episode 2, what if that had gone to your benefit? So if you wanted to talk about both of those with us.
If I was on Zhan Hu, you say?
Yeah, instead of Fei Long. So.
Okay. Well, man. Well, for one thing, I think I would have done a lot better because there wasn't as much cynicism over there. I think there were a few more people who kind of saw life the way I saw life. And I think I really, sorry, I'm trying to get away from my dogs, but they followed me. So golly, I don't know. I think I would have been a little more respected over there. But, you know, it's funny. I think about it all the time. I'm like, I don't think I would have actually really wanted to be on that tribe just because I've created such amazing relationships from the people on Fei Long that it's like hard to imagine. But I do think game wise, I probably would have done a lot better because I think there were some people over there that that I really connected with on a human level. And I think that's why I wasn't put on that tribe. And I think it's why, you know, I don't know, but there was a lot of stuff that wasn't shown on my season that I think if it would have been shown, people would understand a little more. I think a lot of people were like, why the crap did they pick Leslie? Why, like of all the people they could have kidnapped. And I think even Aaron got kind of butthurt about it. Like he really wanted to be the one to be picked for some reason. And I think he was just like really confused by it. But what they didn't show is that there was actually a cross-tribal alliance between me and Todd and Jamie and Eric. Wow. And when they didn't show it at all because it didn't end up panning out because they voted me out. But yeah, we had made an alliance when Jamie came over to my tribe when we first kidnapped her. We gave her the you know the thing she had to read on her own, which was a clue. We didn't know what it was. She showed it to me. She was going to show it to Courtney because she thought Courtney was the weakest link. But then she and I got really close while she was there and had a lot of things in common. We were both from South Carolina, you know. And so they didn't show that when she was there, she said, is there someone you trust on this tribe? And I said, yeah, Todd, 100%. And she goes, okay, the 4 of us. And it was her and Eric and me and Todd. We're going to make sure that nobody else was going to get kidnapped because we wanted to keep the secret of the hidden immunity idol between the 4 of us. So it was the first cross-tribal alliance that was, that was done on Survivor. It was not shown, which kind of ticks me off. But so the reason I was voted out wasn't because I was a Christian. It wasn't because of anything like that. It was because when I came back to my tribe and I was talking to them, I let them know that because they said, why did they pick you? Aaron was really mad about it. And I said, oh, probably because, and I made something up. I was like, maybe it's because there's Christians on that tribe. And they knew I was a Christian from the opening ceremony.
Yeah.
And I think that they just, felt connected to me, because I wasn't going to say, well, I'm in a cross-tribal alliance. So it was either gonna be me or God. So I lied. But the answer that I gave him made him even more nervous, because then he was like, oh, Christianity is the tie that binds, and she's gonna, go with the other tribe. And he was right. I probably would have, but yeah, it was funny when he got voted out and I saw him at Ponderosa. He gets off the boat and he's like, oh, Leslie, I'm so sorry. I should not have voted you out. And I go, no, dude, actually you should have. I said, we had a cross tribal thing going on. He was like, what? So anyway,
Oh my God.
so I don't know how it would have worked out, but I do know that I really got along with pretty much everybody except Dave on the other tribe. So
Yeah.
That would have been really interesting if they showed that, because it's kind of like the precursor to this Exile Alliance that we see in Token Chains a few seasons later. And like Token Chains, that alliance, everyone knows about it. So this could have been pretty iconic.
Well, it was iconic. And that's why I was so pissed, because like after they voted me out, and then I saw the edit, I was like, oh my gosh, it looked like I was just a missionary out there trying to lead people to Jesus. Like I had no gameplay. Like I was completely clueless. And I was in a very strong alliance, and Todd tried to save me. He tried to say, no, let's vote out John Robert. Let's do this. Nobody would listen to him. And there was nothing he could do. And he even told me, he said, I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice, because you got to go with the numbers. And I knew that. So.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, I think all of us watching the show thought that Jean Robert would have been out from your tribe because of how he was annoying people. But
I know. And we had plenty of strong people. We didn't need him, but yeah. I mean, me and Courtney were the only ones that voted for him though. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Shane, what did you want to ask Leslie next?
So one of the things, at least in the edit, that they showed maybe being your downfall was the fact that you got kidnapped and did have such great relationships with Zhan Hu. So do you think, like, in an alternate universe, if you weren't the one that they kidnapped, would you have made it farther in the game?
Yes.
And maybe talk through that scenario a bit?
100%, because I knew it was either me or Todd, and Todd did too. And you'll notice when they pull me over there, they zoom in on his face and he went, like he was like, yeah, our plan is working. And so I knew it was either going to be me or him. And I think if they would have pulled him, he would have been in trouble. You know what I mean? And I would have had to try to fight for him, because Aaron was just pissed off that it wasn't him that was picked. He didn't know about this tribal alliance, cross tribal. He didn't know anything about it. He just knew that he thought he was the leader and he should be the most sought after kidnappee. Like he didn't understand. And when I went to Zhan Hu, Jamie and I had a conversation, and she said, go ahead and just open up and tell them, things as if it's stuff they don't know. She goes, they already know that Aaron's the leader. They already know this. So she's like listing all these things. Like, so if you tell them that and they already know it because I've already told them that, then they're going to trust you. And so that's why I did it. And they made it look like I was an idiot.
Yeah.
Remember when I was talking about, I was like, yeah, and Aaron's our leader. Todd's my boy, blah, blah, blah. I was just I was saying everything that Jamie had already told them, only to solidify that they could trust me. And then it was edited to look like I was a complete idiot and went over there and told them everything, but they already knew it.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy because like Aaron asks you like, why did you tell them that? And it's like, I mean, it was pretty clear, Aaron, that you were the leader.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm like, Jamie knew. She saw you put your jacket on and have a tribe meeting. It was hilarious. We were like, you can't even, like, the spy is right here. What are you doing? Stop it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's the interesting thing with editing because you often hear people be like, well, I mean, it must be true because they can't make stuff up. But like, yes, that happened, but they can misconstrue like the reasoning behind it and logic. And
they
it's
did a
interesting to
lot
hear
of
like
that.
that happened here.
Well, and even in the beginning, when when I walked out of the temple and I said, Jeff started asking me about it, and you see Courtney roll her eyes, she called me right away. She goes, "I did not roll my eyes at you. I rolled my eyes at John Robert because he had walked out too." And they asked him about it. I know they didn't show it. And the reason I said I'm not religious, but I have a relationship is because they asked him first. They said, "Why did you walk out?" He goes, "I don't know. I'm not religious. It felt weird." That's all he said. And then Jeff said, "What about you, Leslie?" And I said, "Well, I'm not religious either." But they took out the either and made it look like I was just dropping the word religion in there for no reason. So yeah, they really, really pigeonholed me into the crazy Christian lady who was out there to just be a witness and not to play a game. But I really did play. And so I would love to be able to play again and to just like play with all my heart,
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because like you played in a time when it seemed like they really were casting like these major archetypes and just trying to like pigeonhole you into one
Yeah.
type of character.
Yeah. Well, I always say, and you'll hear this, Todd and I are starting a new podcast called Beyond the Torch, where we're talking about what happened either before the torch, during the torch, but specifically beyond the torch. And, we were talking to PG yesterday. She's going to be our first guest on the show. But we were just talking about just how, the show shows you as a one-dimensional character. Like they don't, and it's not because they're jerks. It's because they only have so much time to be able to show who you are. So they pick a part of your personality and then they blow that part up. And then any other part of your personality, like me being a gamer, did not line up with Leslie Super Christian. So, because why would a Christian woman go on there and lie, which I did, and do the things that she had to do a cross tribe, that didn't fit my archetype. And so they, took all of the stuff out that made any kind of sense, for me actually playing the game, because they wanted to show me as somebody who was there for religious reasons. And they do that with everyone. Like with Courtney, her character was very loudmouth, kind of almost cruel and like funny, but she was the deepest, smartest, most amazing human being out there, and they didn't even show any of that. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, she was just made out to be the snark.
Yeah, which is such a part. And like, I'm not saying that these aren't part of our personalities. We
Right.
absolutely have that. But it's like you said, it's not that they're denying it, they're just not showing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not highlighting that part of me because it doesn't line up with the character that I was cast to be.
That's unfortunate. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like when watching the show, like they leave certain things out of the edit that should be there to make the storyline make sense, and then they don't do it. So then I don't know. I'm not a fan of that usually.
Well, I think if we would have made it past that vote with the Cross-Tribal Alliance, it would have been a much different game.
Right.
Because there was none of that happening after I left. Like, it was almost like everybody said, well, that doesn't work. But it really could have if, if Aaron, I think a lot of his problems with it were it was ego. He just wanted, he wanted to be the one that he was so shocked that they didn't pick him. So yeah, it was funny.
Well, eventually they did pick him eventually, just not in the way he wanted.
Well, and as soon as they picked him, he was gone. So I'm like, dude, at least you didn't have to leave in the third episode like I did.
Right. Shane, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you said that you would love to play again. Have you ever been asked to play again?
I actually talked to them, several times for, I believe it was Second Chances when they did the voting. And then they kind of mentioned, would you be interested in Blood versus Water? Because I have my son. I was, very strong. A lot has changed in my life. I'm still a Christian, but I'm more progressive, you know, a little more open-minded. I used to be very fundamentalist, evangelical, and my son was a transcendentalist. And so they were thinking about having me and him on because of our completely different views. They thought that would be really funny, but I think they talked, you know, I don't know if they talked to him or if they saw a video of my son. They were like, you know, he's not going to vote you out. He's too sweet. I'm like, I'll vote him out. Yeah, it never worked out, and that's fine. I think at this point, you know, I mean, they called me the old lady when I was on the show. I was 38, and now I'm 56, and you know, I think my window is almost shut. But my gosh, if they ever asked me, I would do it in a heartbeat. I think it'd be so fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, so Leslie, you and Todd are doing the fan segment for Beyond the Torch. So if you wanted to talk about that, and Shane and I would love to give our kind of experience as being fans. So
I would love that. Yeah, we're asking questions, and specifically the question right now, and we have a voicemail that is listed on our Instagram. All you gotta do is click it, leave a voicemail up to 90 seconds, and just let us know, how has Survivor changed your life, or how has it changed your perspective, or has it encouraged you, or did it like make you go, ew, I never want to be like that? Or maybe you saw a character and you're like, oh my gosh, that's how I live my life, how annoying. You know, like, we want to know the tea. And so every single episode at the beginning, we call it the Fans Have Spoken, and we will let you just share your experience with Survivor and why you love it so much. And it's just been so much fun. The stories that we're getting are amazing. I would love to hear your guys's. Tell me, what do you love about Survivor?
yeah, Shane, you want to go first?
Yeah, so I started watching day one. I was 8 years old. The reason I got into it is my dad loves wilderness stuff. So he sees the show, he's like, yeah, we're watching, and kind of like forced me to watch. And then I fell in love with the strategy and the maneuvering. Like, I don't care as much about the wilderness survival, but it's just such an interesting concept. And like, for me, like, I'm someone from a very small town and was kind of sheltered, where like, you see someone like Richard Hatch and they say he's gay. I'm like, I didn't know what that word meant back then. And like, you just see all these different perspectives that I wasn't like let in on. So it's just really interesting to see that. And for me, like, Survivor's given me so much, because in my real life, like, other than my dad, I don't really know anyone that's like a fan. And then during COVID, I found this whole online world where I was just wondering one day, I'm like, someone must have made an online game before. Like, this isn't a crazy concept. Let me Google it. I found some, I played one, and now, I help host one where we try to give back to the community and raise, through all our games, we try to bring together people, form these new friendships that you never knew you needed, all while raising money for Make-A-Wish Foundation to kind of give back and build, like, people that love Survivor can come together, but also have a greater purpose in life as well, to use our passion together to do something greater.
That's amazing, Shane. I mean, and that's a common thread that I'm seeing. A lot of people are saying it brought me community. And it is so fun to find other Survivor fans. It's kind of like, when you meet somebody for the first time and you're like, do you watch The Office, or do you watch Survivor, or because immediately, oh, this is going to be a great person. This is somebody I'm going to have a lot in common with, like, just by the TV show they watch, and Survivor has a very specific niche of people. So I love that. What about you, Jake?
So my story, so I did not start watching from day one. I started Redemption Island was my first ever season, and then I went back, watched all the previous ones, and then started watching live from South Pacific. But my story, so back in middle school and high school, I was bullied a lot as a kid and growing up, and Survivor came along at the right time to basically give me a sense of purpose. And so I started like my own clubs and centered around Survivor in high school and college, and kind of just seeing people like Cochran or like Stephen Fishback or like these nerdier guys on the show, kind of just like that can be me. Like, yeah. So, and then like even Rob Cesternino, his podcast gave me like the influence to start Tribe of Nerds. And just like all this stuff, just getting to use my passion for Survivor to influence my life. And I wouldn't have any of this without Survivor and getting to play Vanquish under Shane. I got to play season 6 of Vanquish and ended up being lucky enough to win that season. And then it kind of just like, yeah. And so just kind of gave me so much purpose in my life, and being able to be on production with Shane and Kristen and just like do everything and again have this sense of community, because I wouldn't have any of this without Survivor. It wouldn't have changed my life as much as it has, and I wouldn't be where I am without it. So
yeah, I feel the same. Wouldn't be where I am without it, because it helped me. I came out of my little Christian bubble, and it, you know, plopped me in the middle of China in a jungle in very extreme temperatures, really, really hot in the day, really, really cold at night, with all these people, and none of us had anything familiar to lean back on. Like nobody was like, oh, she's a Christian radio host, I listen to her every, like nobody cared who you were back home. And you got to just make these genuine connections with people from different walks of life, different political views, different, you know, and it was so freaking beautiful. And it was the first time I had been away from my Christian bubble, and I think being exposed to that got me starting to ask questions. And I think that's why I'm where I'm at today, which, yeah, like I said, still a Christian, but you know, a lot of the people I used to go to church with would say I'm not anymore. They would say, oh no, you're not a Christian anymore. I don't really care what they say, but I just cannot be the kind of Christian that tells people they're going to hell, or, you know, is cruel, or, you know, I don't know, climbs into bed with a politician. No, thank you. So I just feel like it's just changed me. It's given me a bigger perspective that has allowed me to sort of come into who I really am. So
it's amazing how much Survivor has changed all of us.
I know. Well, our whole culture, it's such a cultural phenomenon, and nobody can ever take this away from me. Like I may have only lasted 9 days, but out of 30,000 applicants that season, I was number 14. You know what I mean? Like I made it to 14th place, and nobody can take that away from me. I'm a part of, for all of eternity, I am a part of the cultural phenomenon Survivor, and I love that. And so are you guys now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to your point, I mean, you played in a time when Survivor was really at its peak, and China, at least by my perspective, for me, it's like a top 3 season. I think most fans have it top 5, top 10 minimum.
Yeah.
So
Same
even though
thing.
like being third boot, like, yeah, you could say, I don't like it, but you're in like such a memorable season and you contributed to that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think most of us in that season were memorable in some way.
Yeah.
Even Chicken, the first one voted out, people are like, he was so great. Like, he was such a good character. Like, everybody with such a good representation of whatever it was they put us in there for. We fell right into that, you know, mold. And I think it was one of the last seasons where you really just got literally average Americans, you know, from different walks of life, from different parts of the country. And, you know, none of us were, well, except for maybe Amanda. I don't know. I've heard rumors she was a model, but most of us were just normal people, not, you know, handpicked by casting. So I don't know. I love that I was a part of it.
Absolutely. And last thing I wanted to say, like, to that with China, it's one of the only seasons I can remember where Jeff goes through all of you and just says like something about you on the season, like all 16 of you. I think that's something really special.
Yeah, that we had such a great like intro. They had a whole show just about us, you know. And I think they were just really proud to have been in China. Like, it was a great location, and they really accentuated the culture. I miss that. I really miss that. Fiji, of course I would love to play for 6 days, 24, I don't know how many days.
26.
Okay, it's not many. But I would love to be able to do that in a beautiful beach that like everybody, you know, that would be familiar. I would love that, but you know, we'll see. I don't know if I could keep up with all the freaking advantages now.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's like everybody has immunity when you go to tribal now.
Exactly. Crazy.
Who can I even vote for?
But thank you so much, Leslie, for coming on. And yeah, and again, go check out Beyond the Torch when that comes out next month, right?
Yeah, August 26th is going to be our premiere, but we're already getting the party started online. So we're playing clips from some of the interviews we're having. We've got amazing people. We've got PG, we've got Ethan, we've got Sandra, we've got Adam Gentry. And even you guys, do you know who Lynn Spillman is, right?
Yeah, the
Yes.
old casting director. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So we've got some really great interviews already lined up. And Courtney, of course.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much, Leslie, and we'll see you all next time on the Tribe of Nerds.